Welcome to the Management Functions and Organizational Processes lesson on management and its evolution. By the end of the video, you will learn about perspectives of management, its kinds of branches along with experiments and study of different factors. As we step back in time to the early part of the 20th century, we uncover the roots of the empirical or classical approach to management. This period marks a transformative era where the study of successful managers' experiences began to shape the way enterprises were managed. It's crucial to understand that this approach laid the groundwork for what many managers still practice today. The classical approach to management branches into three distinct areas: scientific management, administrative theory, and bureaucracy. Let's dissect these one by one to grasp their impact and relevance. First, we encounter scientific management, pioneered by F.W. Taylor, known as the father of this approach. Taylor's quest was to enhance manufacturing efficiency through the optimal use of resources. He observed workers intentionally slowing down, fearing that increased productivity might lead to job loss. Taylor introduced principles that revolutionized the workplace. He advocated for the scientific study of tasks to replace guesswork with efficiency. His four principles were: develop a science for each element of work, ensuring tasks are performed optimally. Select and train workers scientifically, ensuring they are well suited and skilled for their tasks. Ensure management cooperates with workers, applying scientific principles to boost productivity. Divide work and responsibility evenly, optimizing both planning and execution. Taylor's experiments, such as the famous pig iron study, demonstrated that by scientifically determining the best ways to work, productivity could dramatically increase. This approach was not just about efficiency, it was about understanding and optimizing human effort. Moving on to administrative theory, we meet Henri Fayol, a French industrialist who contributed significantly to this field. Fayol focused on the broader aspects of management, proposing that all managers perform 5 key functions: planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, and controlling. Fayol introduced 14 principles of administration to guide managers. These include the division of work, authority and responsibility, and unity of command, among others. Each principle aimed at creating a more efficient, harmonious workplace where organizational goals are paramount. Max Weber introduced the concept of bureaucracy, envisioning an organization as a well-oiled machine operating with precision. Weber's ideal bureaucracy was a structure where roles and responsibilities were defined with clarity, authority was based on rational legal grounds, and decisions were made through impersonal, logical reasoning. As we journey through these foundational theories, it's essential to recognize their impact on modern management practices. While critics argue that management cannot solely rely on past precedents due to its dynamic nature, the classical approach offers invaluable lessons on efficiency, organization, and the importance of scientific analysis. Transitioning from the rigidity of early theories, Mary Parker Follett and Chester Bernard introduced a more human-centric view. Follett emphasized coordination and cooperation, envisioning management as a dynamic process of social interaction. Bernard, on the other hand, focused on the symbiotic relationship between an organization's goals and the individual's needs, advocating for a harmonious integration through effective communication. The Hawthorne studies marked a pivotal moment in management thought, shifting the focus towards the social and psychological aspects of work. These experiments revealed that productivity was influenced not just by physical conditions but by social factors and the attention workers received. The Hawthorne effect underscored the importance of human relations in the workplace, challenging previous notions of management. The systems approach further expanded our understanding, viewing organizations as complex systems with interconnected parts. This approach emphasized the importance of looking beyond individual elements, understanding the organization as a whole, and recognizing the interdependence of its parts. The decision theory approach brought decision-making to the forefront, highlighting the process of choosing the most effective course of action. Managers are seen as navigators, steering the organization through a sea of choices, armed with tools and techniques to make informed decisions. Parallel to this, the quantitative approach introduced a mathematical rigor to management. Through the lens of this approach, organizations are seen as entities that can be understood, analyzed, and optimized through numbers, formulas, and models, bringing precision to the art of management. The contingency approach recognizes the diversity of organizational contexts, arguing that management practices must be adaptable. It suggests that there is no one-size-fits-all solution. Instead, managers must be adept at diagnosing situations and applying the most appropriate management style. Douglas McGregor's Theory X and Theory Y present a dichotomy in human motivation and management styles, influencing how managers perceive and engage with their employees. These theories challenge managers to reflect on their assumptions about human nature and the implications for leadership and motivation. William Ochi's Theory Z proposes a hybrid management style, blending the best of American and Japanese approaches to foster a culture of trust, commitment, and collaboration. It advocates for a management style that values consensus, long-term employment, and holistic concern for the employee. In the contemporary era, thinkers like Peter Drucker and C.K. Prahalad have continued to enrich management theory, emphasizing strategic management, innovation, and the role of knowledge in achieving organizational success. Their contributions remind us that management is not just about processes and systems but about leading change and creating value in an ever-evolving world. That brings this lesson to an end. For additional information on this lesson, please look at the content below the video in the online course. To get a list of the important questions and their answers for this lesson, please refer to the guidebook by our publications provided to you with this course for free. It shows you a list of all the questions that have the highest chance of coming in your next exams based on research carried out on previous year question papers. All the best, and I'll see you in the next lesson.